What does that mean to you, Black History Month?
It means that that's racism because they don't celebrate White History Month. We don't have it. I'm part Italian. I don't have Italian History Month. So what I think it's doing is perpetuating what this divide is in our nation, quite honestly, because I don't feel like that should be highlighted. I don't think that they should be pushing their agenda on myself because I'm a straight male, I have a wife, and I have children. I don't think that I should have to be bombarded and brainwashed through media, through those months or Pride, Black History. I don't think that's something that should be, dictated to me.
Is it a learning opportunity?
Not at all, because when I was in school, we learned, certain Black leaders, things like that. I don't need to hear it every single year for a whole month.
I just need to brag about women for a second. Single women now own 2.71 million more homes than single men. If you think for one single motherfucking second that what's happening right now doesn't have anything to do with this, then you are not paying attention. They are pissed. They are mad. You took your chains off. They want you to get back in the house, babe. Not your house, though. They want you back in their house. They want you giving that unpaid labor. They want you giving your best years to someone who leaves you and leaves you with nothing. They absolutely did not want us to find out that we can do this completely by ourselves and be completely at peace without a man cheating on us or beating us. And here's the truth. Capitalism does not function without slavery, period. There always has to be a group of people that are working essentially for free. So without women working for free, this doesn't fucking work. Anyways, good luck to the Republicans trying to get this cat back into the bag. We're not going.
So the latest story that all of conservative media is outraged over is this one. The story of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf being unalived by 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony. And if you search this story on Twitter right now, you're going to see all the conservative influencers using it as an excuse to be racist. So I decided to actually look into the story, and it's very clear that they're not giving you anywhere near all the details. So if you give me just a couple minutes, I'm going to break everything down for you. So the current narrative being spun by conservative media is that Anthony randomly attacked Metcalf after he simply asked him to leave their tent at a high school track meet. But I want you to listen to the details of what happened from Metcalf's brother, who was also there, along with at least 2 other people. So minimum 4 people in their group, and Anthony was by himself.
And this kid said something behind me. I've never met this kid in my entire life. I never knew who he was. Said something just inappropriate and uncalled for. When I turned around and asked him who he was, he started getting really aggressive. My brother stepped in. He started being, how he always does with his brothers, just having my back. And things started getting more higher intensity. And the kid said some aggressive stuff, reckless stuff. Also try to handle the problem.
Austin was always one to step up. He always was one to step up and be the person that would do the right thing.
So things started getting aggressive and Austin stepped up to handle them? Well, that seems extremely vague and could mean a million different things. And look, I'm not an expert on high school track meet tent etiquette, but why exactly was it such a big deal that this one guy was in the tent?
And he was doing the right thing by saying to this gentleman that you're not supposed to be in this tent. This is because they have personal items there.
A lot of stuff gets stolen, just like that, just precautions and stuff.
Oh, I see. So did you think he was stealing something? And if your coaches didn't want him in there, why didn't you just go tell the coaches so they could take care of it? But enough from the family. What do witnesses have to say? Well, according to 2 different witnesses, Austin Metcalf approached Anthony and told him that he would need to move from under the tent. Now, according to multiple witnesses, after he said, hey, you need to leave the tent, Anthony opened his bag and reached inside and said, touch me and see what happens. Now, after that happens, Metcalf reportedly then touched Anthony, a witness told a responding officer, and then Anthony told Metcalf to then punch him and see what happens. Soon afterward, the witness said Metcalf reportedly grabbed Anthony to tell him to move, at which point the affidavit continues, Anthony reportedly pulled out what witnesses recalled as a black knife and stabbed Metcalf once in the chest. And this case is very new, so we're going to get a lot more details, but so far it appears that Metcalf approached him first, touched him first, and then grabbed him first. But it also appears that Anthony might have been trying to bait him into doing this because Texas is one of the idiotic states that has a stand your ground law where you have no duty to retreat. So while you have people like Dan Crenshaw on Twitter saying that, oh, because this happened in Texas, this guy's going to face real consequences, I would say it's much more likely that this kid actually went through with it because of the terrible laws you guys have in Texas. Because no matter what details end up coming out, I can almost guarantee you that the defense Anthony's going to go with is stand your ground, because he's already said, I'm not alleged, I did it, I was trying to protect myself. But yeah, there you go. That's the details so far. So can we maybe this time have like a real conversation about why these things happen instead of just, being racist on Twitter?
What if the roles were reversed? He'd probably get a slap on the wrist. Historically, the roles have been reversed. For a very long time. And very rarely is justice served. Hence, the outcry and protests. For all of history, white men have been killing black men and getting let go, defended, or praised. But a black guy kills a white guy, and he's then arrested for it. He's going to trial for murder, and you still want to talk about his race? Someone stabbed someone else, and that person died. Terrible situation. Super, super sad. It shouldn't have happened. But if race isn't a part of the crime, why does race have to be part of the discussion at all? Like, it has nothing to do... It's almost like you guys are fantasizing about the white guy killing the black guy instead. Why is that always the first place your mind goes? The roles being reversed. Look at history. They have been.
If you're a woman of color in this country, especially if you're black, your odds of dying in childbirth are 3 to 4 times higher on average in our country.
Why? Because you're not talking about access to healthcare. You're not talking about money or education.
No, and this is going to be hard to hear. We believe black women less when they express concerns about the symptoms they're having, particularly around pain. And that's the common thread in all the stories we've been hearing in the media, including Serena Williams.
Yes, even Serena Williams, the world-class athlete who developed a pulmonary embolism after giving birth to her daughter last September.
We had a lot of complications, but look who we got.
She says that had she not insisted on receiving a CAT scan, she could have died.
We're leaving the hospital after 7 days, 6 days. It's been a long time.
This is my message to the media. First of all, what you need to know is that I'm a nobody. Unfortunately for you, there are tens of millions of nobodies. If you will not report on these protests, we will bring it to your fucking door. And we will do it every day until you cover the truth of what is happening in this country.
Well, I have seen something that I thought I would never see in my life at this point. I just saw not one but 2 different videos of veterans marching in Washington, D.C. on Fox News headquarters, like ranting and raving in the streets, waving signs. And it wasn't just like a couple people. It was probably over 1,000 people at least that it looked like were parading right down the streets of Washington, D.C. towards Fox News headquarters. Apparently, Fox, CNN, MSNBC, there were news outlets there. None of them were paying any mind. Like, they were pretending like the protesters didn't exist. They weren't filming, they weren't asking for interviews. None of these fucking mainstream media outlets are reporting on the growing unrest that's happening in this country because of what Pervert Hoover and his gremlins are doing to this place. So I don't know how much longer we have until we start seeing like draconian style gun control laws rocketing through Congress, because there's hundreds of millions of us and we have hundreds of millions of weapons, if not more. And that's just the ones that are legally registered to people in this country. Like, we are the biggest fucking powder keg in the world, literally. And they're just, Trump and Elon are just playing with a book of matches, just like striking them and throwing them up in the air to see what happens, it feels like at this point. Like, this is not sustainable. So I'm just trying to call attention to this, since the media is not, like, even the people that voted for Trump, I'd be shocked if a lot of the people in that parade that I saw just now weren't Trump voters. They're fucking pissed. Like, I am concerned. I'm just concerned for absolute chaos breaking out and it not taking many more days or weeks before we get to that point. So again, it's just for awareness, because there's no mainstream media outlets reporting that these kind of protests are happening, and there's more of them happening by the day, it seems. So just stay safe, try to stay prepared, get the fuck out of here if you have a means to do so. But it's just, things are starting to spiral.
It's crazy that Democrats want the government to control the people because the people are not able to make their own decisions. Democrats are always telling people how to live and what to do. And I have a big problem with that, actually. And you know, a lot of people in the Civil War did too. Y'all want to always talk about history, but you don't want to go back that far.
They tell you this to your face. Black Hispanics between 14 to 21. They must get stopped.
At the end of the month, these officers, whoever don't have that arrest or those few summonses, they're pressured to find something. You might not see nothing. You're supposed to be visible. You might not see anything, but you go hunting, like bounty hunting for an arrest. Locking up some old guy, some homeless guy, finding somebody who's riding a bicycle on the sidewalk, who's spitting, and you bring him in.
The problem is when you go hunting, when you put any type of numbers on a police officer to perform, we are going to go to the most vulnerable.
The most vulnerable.
Of course, we're going to go to LGBT community. We're going to go to the black community. We're going to go to those people that have no vote, that have no power. If we start doing what we're doing in Midtown Manhattan, a phone call to the mayor's office is going to be made. That's going to be the end of it. We're the predators, they're the prey. The worst thing you can have is a police officer that needs an arrest for the month.
So you're all minorities. How does that make you feel?
It's horrible.
This is something coming from the top that trickles its way down, and this is why we're all here today.
Favorite thing about seeing all of these protests is the amount of older white people that are there. As someone who does a lot of organizing, one of our biggest fears is that the government will turn around and label people who are protesting a terrorist organization, like they did with Black Lives Matter and that sort of thing. But when I see so many white folks saying, hey, black folks, people of color, y'all stay home, we got this. And now I'm seeing all this footage of not just younger white people coming out, but people in their 60s, 70s, 80s. Like the majority of people who came out are older white folks. This is monumental. This is cross-generational. We are all banding together against this bullshit. This is not just a young person's fight. It is so encouraging to see so many older white folks showing up, because they are the last people that the administration is going to put in handcuffs and label terrorists. And seeing that be the majority of these movements is really encouraging.
According to Fox News, we are all George Soros operatives. That would make me a George Soros operative. That would make all these thousands of people George Soros operatives. That would make the other thousands of people that are honking also George Soros operatives. Use your fucking brain. It's not even possible. It's the stupidest shit I ever heard. The fact that people believe that is fucking insane.
I'm done. I'm done with them, okay? Oh, they had so many people paid them to go to those protests. How much did George Soros pay them to go to those protests? None of those are real. These are all people that don't have a job and they're just grifters. Are you dumb? Why do you guys believe like this? Why? You're either A, the most gullible or like stupid person on the planet, or B, you're evil, right? Like those are the only two options when you're actively beating your chest, believing wholeheartedly that these protesters are paid by somebody to be here. Because, oh, God forbid, people don't think the same way I do. So if there's people saying Trump bad, they're fake. Can't be real. Can't be real because Trump's so good. Like that's how you sound if you actually think that. And then if you don't, and if you know you're posting the wrong stuff, then you're evil, right? Because you're actively preying on people who are believing it and making it seem like it's more and more fact. And you're also harming literally millions, if not billions of people around the globe because you're helping this fascist fucking dictator get a foothold and continue to get away doing the shit that he's doing. Okay? Like, there's no excuse for acting like this. I mean, if you're on the gullible side, like, you're still not able to, like, when people tell you, hey, no, like, that's not true. Don't just keep going, well, I heard that on the news, or that Tucker Carlson, he told me that George Soros gave out $2 million to get these protests out there. Girl, your buddy Elon Musk just gave people literally millions of dollars to fucking act in politics. Do you not get how that is worse? He paid people to vote. Now, people are mad. They show up to a protest, and you act like, God forbid they get paid to do that. They're destroying the fucking country. No, you're doing it. okay? Sorry, I'm just pissed. I'm over it. That was the Daily Scream.
Hello.
How are you? Good, how are you? Good. You guys residents here? Are we bothering anyone? Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Sorry? Alright, well, this lake is presently for residents only. So, thank you for filming. I'm not giving you permission to film, so...
She's not...
Take a picture of your license plates and forward it on.
Hey, so y'all hear what I go through, right? This the third person. I'm in my own neighborhood, and a white person came and bothered me while I'm fishing. Another white person came and bothered me while I'm fishing. This is the third time. She's like, oh, no, I'm not giving you permission to film. This is my phone. I can film and do whatever I want. I study the law. I study the law. Thank you. I'm sorry. Hey, well, don't leave now. Do you want to say, hey, do you live here? Where you live? What's your address?
Where do you live? Where do you live?
This is unbelievable.
Where do you live? Why?
What's your name, by the way? Because at the next meeting, I'm definitely going to mention you.
Her name is Karen.
wait. Matter of fact, let me turn this phone around. Let me go ahead and get yours. Go home.
He's down. He's on the ground. No ground right there. Fucking piece of shit. You fucking piece of shit. Sir, listen. Put your hands on your back. Listen. Put your hands on your back. Listen, sir, listen. Put your hands on your back. I'm trying. Put your hands on your back. I'm trying. Put your hands on your back. Stop. I'm trying. There's a gun behind you. I'm trying, sir. Not hard enough. Get your hands behind your back. I'm trying, sir. I'm trying, sir.
1281. Sir? Priority. Shots fired. 2 suspects in custody. Gun recovered. We are at.
I have come to the conclusion that some white people in America and the rest of the world really have nothing to offer to humanity except hate. Whether this stems from an inferiority complex that they feel, I don't know. But I have concluded, after all that has happened in the past 6 years, that they have nothing to offer the world except hate.
What are you right now sitting out here doing?
I'm minding my own business. What are you doing?
I don't think you are minding your own business.
Okay, what do you think I'm doing?
I'm not really sure, but I'll figure it out.
Okay, you figure it out. I'm probably where I live.
Yeah, I live here too.
Okay, so I'm probably at my house where I live. Got it. You feel good? Did you do what you needed to do?
What the fuck are you doing right now?
I'm standing outside my house. You're standing outside of my house.
Why are you standing outside of your house doing what you're doing?
I don't think that's any of your concern, what I'm doing.
Well, you're doing something.
Why don't you go back to your house, and I'll be at my house.
You sound like an idiot.
You walked over from your house, standing in front of me at my house,
Yeah, I
trying
did.
to tell me I'm an idiot?
Absolutely, I did.
Okay, good job.
So what are you doing?
I think I'm doing none of your fucking business.
The goal has always been to prevent women from seeking higher education. When they talk about returning this country to traditional values, what they mean is they want women to go back into the home to wait on their husbands and have a bunch of kids. And it's infinitely more difficult to convince a woman who has a college degree, who's out there working on her career, to stop, go home, wait on her husband, and have a bunch of babies. They talk about this all over Project 2025 and the Heritage Foundation. They've specifically attacked programs that help underprivileged girls gain access to higher education. It's so obvious, and the only way this works is if they get a certain subset of women to push this agenda. Because without us, there's not enough of them to get it done. We have no choice but to advocate for ourselves and our daughters and other women, because they're not going to protect us anymore. They have dismantled the Department of Education, which will make it less likely that they support Title IX and enforce its rules. Women attend college at higher rates than men, and they want that to stop. We can't let it.
As you know, a real estate developer has bought up a lot of land in Jackson County with the intention of recruiting buyers to build an aligned community here of people who all think alike. They have stated that they are planting a flag and building a town here in Gainesboro and Jackson County. I have no problem with these people personally. They have families, and I'm sure they love their children. To my knowledge, they haven't broken the law. But I oppose what they represent. And what do they represent? Their views and intentions are public. They oppose democracy and favor a Red Caesar type of authoritarian government instead. They believe women should be second-class citizens. Gay people aren't welcome. According to them, black people and Native Americans are okay as long as they don't say anything about the past that these guys don't agree with. They favor taking over the local Republican Party and reportedly want to bring extremism to Main Street. If they believe deeply in trust between neighbors, why didn't they request a public meeting before coming to Gainesboro to ask people here for feedback about their proposed plans? Why didn't they build insular communities in their own hometowns? Is it because people there don't like bigotry any more than people in Gainesboro, Tennessee? Our hometown is not a test tube for some extremist social experiment. The people here, whether they are recent transplants or have deep roots, are not just wet clay waiting for someone to come and mold them so they can wield political power. Now, what business is it of mine if these people hold views different from me, even if they are extreme? Some have suggested that people here just don't like outsiders, that we should live and let live. Well, live and let live is how I roll too. If this was just a real estate venture, I wouldn't know or care about it. I would not be on video talking about it. What is different about this is their stated intention to build a town here to wield political power. White, so-called Christian nationalists planting a flag here would forever change the cultural identity and reputation of Gainesboro and Jackson County. I do care about that. For me, in making decisions about the future, it helps to look to the past. One of the lessons of World War II is the paradox of tolerance. Most of us believe that tolerance is good. But if you are so tolerant that you don't stand against hate, you invite it in and you allow it to take root, then you are implicitly supporting it. And folks, people who classify their fellow human beings are never on the right side of history. By learning about history, we learn about ourselves. Right here in the middle of town is the grave of my cousin, Elizabeth Dudney Eaton. She and her husband Joseph were the first couple married in Gainesboro, and they had the first child born in the town, a daughter who they named America. When cholera broke out here in 1850 and most people deserted the town, they were among the few who stayed to take care of it. When their home was imperiled, they stood up. Elizabeth was one of those strong, independent women that Jackson County is known for. Gainesboro is in a better position now than it's been in years, and it's on the rise. So we stand at a crossroads. 20 years from now, Jackson County is going to be known as a great place to live and a destination where everybody's welcome, or we're going to be remembered as the place that passively let hate come in and define our community. Each of us has to decide which path we're going to choose. I'm standing here on the right side of history.
Conservative white family, and I know there's been a lot of discourse about whether white people should talk about racism, and here's my argument for why I think that not only should we, but we have to. A lot of racism in white families occurs behind closed doors. I've been over at friends' parents' places and heard them say some pretty obscene things about people of color, assuming that I am on their side simply because I am white. Obviously, this makes for some awkward conversations when I do call them out, but point being, the depths of the racism and the darkness that seeps in deeply into these families can only, in my opinion, truly be exposed by other white people, because they will never be their full racist selves around anyone who is not white. They like to save face publicly and say that they're not racist, but then again, if you go into their homes and you hear the things they say, that would suggest otherwise. I just encourage you, if you're a white person and you know people like this, please say something. Don't just ignore it for fear of conflict.
小红书
Open the door right now. I mean it. I don't want to have to repeat myself again, okay?
We're not gonna open the door.
Why not? Huh?
Why would I let you in? I don't know
really
you.
need to talk to you about something that's very important.
Okay, so talk to me here.
I would like to come in and talk to you, okay? Like neighbors, friendly neighbors do. I'd like to come in
You're
and have a
not a friendly
conversation
neighbor.
with you.
You're not a friendly neighbor.
No, you really aren't, okay? This is very important.
You aren't. What are you
Why-
talking about?
You don't want to open the door and let me in? I really
Absolutely
need-
not. Why would I let you in my house?
Because I'm your neighbor and I
Okay.
need to talk to you about a situation that is
because
very
you're my
important.
neighbor, it doesn't mean that you get to come in
Are
my
you
house.
afraid to let me in? Is that what it is? Are you not man enough to let me in and have a conversation?
It's weird to let you in to have a conversation. We're having a
okay.
conversation right now. We can
Let me in
No.
your house right now, and I'd like to have a conversation.
No, actually, and also, would you mind leaving?
No, I'm not going to leave because what I have to talk to you about
I
is
don't care about what
extremely
you have to talk to me about. Can you leave and
Would
get
you
off my
stop
property?
being rude and please listen
I'm
to me
being
right
rude.
now?
That men hate women is very different from the way that women are concerned and alarmed around men. Men want total power, authority over women. They want the subjugation of women. And that's why things such as toxic masculinity or misogyny exist, because it is byproducts of their insecurities of women becoming too powerful on their own and not needing them. The society that we have created is structured around men. It is a patriarchy. On the other hand, the way that women hate men is reactionary. Every single woman that I know has either personally experienced an SA, rape, or some other act of violence at the hands of a man, or a close family member or friend has. When women say we hate men, that stems from fear, not actual hatred. There are places around the world where women cannot show our faces, where we can not walk unaccompanied by a man. There's a huge difference. There's a huge difference, and misandry is a harmful myth about the feminist movement.
Well. You mean to tell me the party that's pissed off that we want to boycott Tesla is boycotting a product today? You don't say. Yes, baby, I do say. It just so happens I've seen it on my local news. I'm sitting here trying to enjoy my lunch, honey. Yes, I had no intentions of hopping on and making a video just yet, but baby, this tea, I had to bring it to you expeditiously. It appears that they're asking for all of us to boycott Yeti. Newsflash, baby, unless you was a highfalutin ass white person who was conservative, you was already boycotting Yeti because you couldn't afford no Yeti. Because it was a stupid amount of money to pay $800 to $1,000 for a goddamn ice chest. Have you lost your mind? And let's not forget their cups that are similar to Stanley cups, baby. They range anywhere from $40 to fucking $400 for a cup. Yes, honey. I'm proud to say that I never bought into that bullshit. Not today, not ever. But anyway, they got their panties in a wad. Yes, the whiteys and their tighties are riding right up their ass today, and they're wanting everybody to boycott Yeti. You want to know why? Because the Conservative Conference of Women decided to order a bunch of Yeti cups from Yeti, and they asked Yeti to print a logo on the front of the cup that said Conservative Women's Conference. Yeti said no. Yes, baby. Yeti said, we will not be printing any logos that are associated with any political affiliation or any other organization. That's right. They said, we're not getting political, period. And now, conservatives are asking you to boycott Yeti as if we was out there buying Yeti when we're this fucking broke anyway. Who in the hell is out there buying Yeti? Oh, that's right. All of you hateful-ass conservative people with all that money in your pocket. The rest of us ain't worried about no Yeti, baby. I grew up with styrofoam ice chests from the damn Al's 5 and Dime, and they worked just fine. Anyway. The hypocrisy, baby. The hypocrisy. These fools, baby. These fools.
I think what's so interesting to me about American Christianity is that it's quite literally leaving women unsatisfied to the point that they have to worship a man over God. And maybe that's also because this like new age Christianity is teaching women more about how to be a good wife than how to be a woman of the world, how to care about people at large, human issues. It's all about the trad wife of it all. Because here's the thing, the whole point of spirituality and religion is to worship a higher power and to also look inward and listen to yourself and your like intuition. But American Christianity is so incredibly heteronormative and male-centered that they're turning to husbands to devote like devotion towards them, to the point where this woman is quite literally saying no matter what anyone tells her, she will be like devoted and loyal to him. Like if someone's like, hey, I saw your man with another woman, she's like, well, he said he wasn't, so he has my full devotion. Meanwhile, maybe you have intuition going on, or meanwhile you have a higher purpose in your life that like draws you to something that isn't just staying loyal no matter what, you know? Which I think just leads me to believe that this like American Christianity just isn't like, doesn't give you enough. It's not fueling them. It's not like feeding them enough that they're like, okay, like, you know, devoting to this God is like not hitting. Let me try Chad. Let me devote to Chad and like see how that feels. I don't know.
White men overwhelmingly support Donald Trump because they can't compete with women and minorities. They have a vested interest in upholding white supremacy and upholding the patriarchy because other groups, including women and minorities, have been put under such a stress test for such a long period of time that white men cannot compete with them. They straight up cannot compete with them, which is why we see these astronomical rates of women are surpassing men in STEM degrees, especially women of color. So what you have is this huge voter demographic made up of white males that have never had to have the same stress and the same pressures put on them as women and minorities. And so if you take away the silver platter that is white supremacy and the patriarchy for them, they cannot compete at all. Like, they're already unsuccessful now, let alone what happens if you pull the rug out from underneath them. So that's why it doesn't matter if there's any one policy that he falls through on. If he says he's going to bring down the grocery prices and then doubles them, he says he's going to make the economy better and then tanks it. If he says this and then doesn't do it, it doesn't matter because they have faith that he's going to continue to uphold the patriarchy and white supremacy.
Trump just signed an order to censor museums and force the return of Confederate statues. Yes, statues of traitors who fought to keep slavery. He's attacking the National Museum of African American History and Culture, calling it divisive and demanding history be rewritten to fit his version of patriotism. Historians are already comparing this to Stalin and Putin, authoritarian leaders who whitewash their pasts to control the future. Is this really about pride, or is it a step toward dictatorship? Follow for more.
Trump now has said that he wants to erase diversity and racism in the Smithsonian and is now going to make the Smithsonian basically rewrite history and say that America was great the whole fucking time and did nothing wrong. This is one of the things that has most concerned me of looking like Germany in the 1930s. Because it's a play-by-play. He's gotten all this power. He's above the law. We see that. Like, Pete Hegseth is not fired yet. He is above the law. Everything he does is above the law. And now he's literally taking our museums, our books, and rewriting history, which is just a classic trend toward a dictatorship, like Hitler was in Germany. Because when you erase history and books, you erase what happened. And I know this because I grew up with a history book that erased people of color stories, that erased Black Americans, that erased slavery, that erased all Native Americans, and I did not know fucking anything. I thought MLK was a bad guy and was a communist. That's how I grew up. And that is what Trump and the far right want for any other generation, is to fucking grow up that way. And I can tell you, it's fucking hard to get people out of that mind control, brainwash space unless they have the courage to leave behind their whole family and everything they've known and all of their support groups. And a lot of people do not have that courage or capability or honestly privilege to be able to let go of all of their society nets. So this is so bad. I'm at a loss.
If I make a Black People Meet account right now, what's going to happen? Are they going to kick me off, or are they going to let...
Literally nothing is going to happen to you. Secondly, I'm going to show you the Black app, and I want to show you the amount of white people that are on this month. Literally just logged in the app. This is the first person. This was within 30 seconds. I made like 3 swipes. Nose all running. Find a snow bunny. I ain't even have to try that hard, yo.
Hey, I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was this site a long time ago. It was called Black Planet. And it was like the first dating app that I ever heard of. When I tell you that I never met a Black girl on Black Planet, I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I never actually tried to meet any woman. Like, I never actually reached out to a woman myself. I never like hit a woman up. Like, you know what I mean? Every single woman that I spoke to hit me up, and none of them were Black. None of them were. Like, I remember at the time thinking it was funny, but I was young. I was in my early 20s. But later on, when I went back and like revisited that time, I laughed so hard at it when I think about it. Like, how was that possible?
Listen, do you know how we're all rising up as a country, joining with postcard campaigns, phone banking with the 2 races in Florida and the Wisconsin Supreme Court race? You know how we're all jumping in there to do this? For midterms, we have got to help our blue counterparts in these god-awful red states. Tennessee, for instance. The Senate just passed a bill where if you're getting an education in Tennessee in the public school system, you need to be taught that what you do is you finish high school and then you get married and then you have kids. That you are defining to children what a successful person looks like. And if you want to go on to additional education, and they only specifically mention trade school, not college, then you graduate from high school, go to trade school, get married, and have children in that order. You teach that this is what your life, the path you should follow. This is real Handmaid's Tale shit, you guys. And do you want to know who stood up? Black women who were elected in the Senate. And they're looking at everybody and they're saying, I'm a single mom. I didn't follow that route. Are you going to look at me in the face right now and tell me that I'm not successful because I didn't follow your order? I followed my path in life? Is that what you're going to tell me right now? When I say we need to help our blue dots in these red states, there's definitely solid blue areas there's no way Republicans can win, like for the most part. So if you're in that area, let's just say Ann Arbor, Michigan, overwhelmingly blue. Royal Oak, Michigan, overwhelmingly blue. Yes, help keep it blue. But with all that extra energy and time, we have to be phone banking for our friends in these states. We've got to help these red districts flip blue. Look how many there are of us that jumped in just for Florida. And there's that many more that we're going to be able to mobilize to help all of us with phone banking, postcards. So we got to do this. This is crazy.